Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream. Today, Ron Nicoletti here. We're going to take you on a solo journey this afternoon. Samantha and Brian will be back with us on tomorrow, but they got some tickets today, and there you can see our tracks. We got a fast main track, furniture, of course. Of course, we got the all-weather Tapeta this afternoon, and we got big news in the Rainbow Six. So let's quickly go and see what that estimate is this afternoon. I think it's $225,000. Yeah, $225,000. That's races numbered 3 through 8. There's $141,000 carryover all the way in there. So they're going to bet it today. It's a pretty nice sequence. I'll show you a ticket in a little while. And that's about it for the early stuff. And we're going to delve right into the card. And our first race this afternoon is going to be a 5-furlong sprint on the Tapeta. These are 2-year-olds, which makes the day great. But we do have a jockey change to let you know on number 1, Overnight Express. Make that rider Jonathan Ocasio. And Brian is kind enough to put an early pick 5 ticket together. So we'll check that out before we talk about this race. He's got the 2 and 7 in here. Race number 2, just too deep in there. His top pick's probably the number 2, El Rojo Vivo, but he used the 7. Lots of coverage in race 3. That's where the Rainbow Six starts. He's got a bunch of horses I think have big shots in there. Race number 4, just 2 for him. The 1 and the 5, Jonah's Dream, and the 5, Sue's got a nice stat to show you. And he's single in the number 5 in race number 5, and that's Motivo. We actually have a replay we'll show you of that horse. So $16 is the ticket, very affordable, so you can change it around a little bit, add a couple of horses, maybe take a horse out one way. It's a good template to start the day with in there. And as I mentioned, 2-year-olds, there's no better way to start the day. Got lots of things we're going to show you here. You see my selections up there, tepid favorite, number 2, Pop Style. But let's go and look at a couple of workouts that Samantha pulled. First, we're going to look at the 1, Overnight Express, the one that's going to be ridden by Jonathan Ocasio. And this one from the Bobby Hess Jr. barn, so we'll see what's going on here with this number 1 horse today, and that is Overnight Express. And there you see Overnight Express on the inside. Whoa, 3 horses across the track. You don't see that very much. So Overnight Express is sire is Big Brown. Everybody knows Big Brown, so we'll see how this horse runs this afternoon. Overnight Express running very well there on the inside. Looks like he's on the inside. I believe he's on the inside there. It's hard to tell. So that is the video of Overnight Express. Pretty nice performance. And we'll keep going with videos. We'll go with the one from Francisco D'Angelo, and that is the number 4 Episode, just to get you familiar with these horses that are going to start in the first race here. And there you see Episode on the outside. It's a Boss on the inside. And, they worked okay, both of these horses. They look good, and it's good to get a work to see how they're running early on in the day. So to see the horse on the outside, got the shortcut blinkers on and running well this afternoon. We'll be interested to see if he comes out with those blinkers today. And there he is, just going on the outside, getting up and beating his stablemate in there. With all of that said, I went with the number 2 horse in here, and that's a Pop Style. And Pop Style, I just thought, has that great add addition. That's a previous work with these 2-year-olds. So tepid 4-1 on the number 2 Pop Style. Edwin Gonzalez for Carlos David. And I just thought the previous experience should bode well for this horse. And that race was on May 2nd. And, horses got to work four half-mile work in. So we'll see how this horse runs in his second start. Now, we got a stat on the number 3 Cheese and the number 7 Stewbold, both trained by Mark Cassie. And here is that stat. And this is on the Tapeta. This race is on the Tapeta, as you mentioned. Good stat, 7 for 33, 21%. 45% in the money, 168 is the ROI, and that's 2-year-old first-time starters on the Tapeta, and that's just in the past year. And 33 starters sprinting on the Tapeta, 2-year-olds. He's not only doing that here, he's doing that up in Canada at Woodbine. So that's where I went, 2, 3, and 7. And very early in the wagering right now, very tepid favorite, isn't it? Number 2 Pop Style, and that previous performance. So lots of great things, and I love when the 2-year-olds or first-time starters are in the first race. You get to look at the board before you put your early pick 5 ticket. Not the case with the early pick 4. You already got to start. I mean, if you're starting here, not doing the early pick 5, you go to race number 2. We're going to go to the 1 mile on the main track. These are claimers 3-year-olds and up, which would never won 2 races. And we did have a couple of scratches in this race of the 4 Commodore Biz and the number 6 horse in here, Chachachero. So those horses have been declined. And Samantha's got an early pick 4 ticket that she wants to show you right now. And she went 2-7. And I just think those are the logical horses in race number 2. Race number 3, she's got a single with the 8 James Gang. We are in agreement. In race number 4, 3 deep for her with the 1, 4, and 5. And then in race number 5, 2 horses that I used, the number 8, Mr. Barrio, and the 9, Split Strike. That one from Lisa Lewis is stretching. I got a stat I'm going to show you on that. Look at that, $6, very affordable here. So you don't have to spend a lot of money maybe to get a nice score this afternoon. Getting back to this second race, I did start it off with the number 2 horse in here, and that's El Rojo Viejo. And this one, I just look at its last performance. Run well going long, albeit that was up at Tampa Bay. Comes off the bench at Tampa, breaks from a tough outside post, and I thought, ran a really good race to break maiden, broke it by like 6.5 lengths for Kevin McCathin, and I just thought off that performance, no one else in the race really scares me that much, so I know it's tough to win off a maiden victory, but I'm going to go with the number 2, El Rojo Viejo. The other horses that had some interest in here was the 3, Frontina. Frontina, you just look 2 starts back, albeit it was in the slop, but a victory here at this 1-turn mile distance at Gulfstream Park. So, yeah, you've always got to factor that in. And then on the outside, I still don't understand the name of this horse. I got to find out someday. That's the 7, 16 Cigarettes, and 16 Cigarettes closed to be a good second, beating a length last time out. It may be as simple as that. Someone going up and challenging the 2 horse and setting it up for 16 Cigarettes to come closing late. Has 5 for 9 in the money today in its career, so seems to hit the board a lot and run well. We'll see if we can get that second victory today. So that's the first 2. We got lots of going on with the early pick 4, the early pick 5, 2-year-olds in the first race. I'm going to take a break, come back, and give you my Rainbow 6 ticket.
And they're off.
Win big with new DRF All Access Past Performances. With one best-in-class product, you now get all 3 past performance formats. Easily switch between views. Access the most trusted information in horse racing with DRF All Access Past Performances. Go to DRF.com and use coupon code 1FREEPP for a free single card today.
Welcome back today. Ron Nicoletti here. Hope everybody is doing okay. We got a fast main track, firm turf course, all-weather Tapeta, and we got a really interesting Rainbow 6, which is going to start in race number 3. It's 5.5 furlongs on the Tapeta claimers, 3-year-olds or 4-year-olds and upward, which have never won 3 races. Big field of 9, no scratches, jockey changes. Let's take a look at my Rainbow 6 ticket, and I did go 4 deep in here. We'll talk about this third race in a moment. 2 deep for me in race number 4 with Jonah's Dream and the number 5 Sue, and then in race number 5, 3 deep. My top pick is Mr. Barrio, but I use Split Strike in there and a long shot, the number 1 Admiral's Wave. There's my single, Asher's Hedge. I thought this horse would be lower on the morning line, 6-1 on the morning line. I'm hoping I get that, and I'm hoping it wins. 2 deep in race number 7 with Admiral Hopper, who's going to be odds on in that spot, but I used Flirtini just in case. And then the last race, there's my long shot there, and it's Dixie Peach. We'll have a video of a couple of horses that ran together. This one 12-1 on the morning line to Dixie Peach. I thought ran as well as anybody in the race, and thought I'd get a little bit of a price. So getting back to this third race this afternoon, I started it off with the number 8 horse in here, and that's James Gang and Jorge Delgado. And you just look at its last race. Now, first off, the claim going to Jorge Delgado's barn. So number 1, you got to like that. He's solid. He's 16%. He was 18% with his horses on the Tapeta. And this one was really nice. Fought from through the whole stretch and held on to win it by a neck. I thought it was a game performance. And, I just go right back to that horse because I don't, once again, as I said earlier, no one really scares me in a race off these horses stepping up to the next level. Usually you try not to do that, but I did. And the morning line favorite is the number 4 horse in here, and that's Akamar. And this one from the Frank Reglabuto barn. And you could just see this horse coming off the coming late. He's fourth, beaten 2 lengths last time out against 12. Condition claim is 12.5, so dropping to 8. You go 2 starts back, was beat a half length. He's going to pick up that speed if it indeed does not make it to the wire. So he looks like he'll send a nice trip. And then you got the number 5, Truth and Honesty, Jose D'Angelo. And this one, comes off another one that comes off a solid victory. They cut it back to 5 furlongs last time, got the 2 lifetime score. So we'll see how this race plays out. Tough to when the horse goes from 2 lifetime up to 3 lifetime, but at certain times you have to figure who's in the race and how they're going to run. So for me, it's 8, 4, and 5, and the number 1 horse on the inside, Fort Attitude, if you want to get that try and super. That once again is race number 3. So we'll flip the page and go to race number 4. We'll go back to the main track, and it is 7 furlongs. It's a maiden claimer. These are 3-year-olds and upward, and this particular race is where the late pick 5 starts. So Samantha has a ticket she wants to show you, and we will all take a look at it. She went too deep in here with the 4 and 5, Awesome Beast and Sue. We'll talk about Sue in a minute. Race number 5, the 2 I use the 8, and that is Mr. Barrio on the 9, Split Strike. Her single is my single, Ass's Edge, my best bet. So we're thinking alike, Samantha and I. Race number 7, 1, 2, and 8. Once again, we got the same selections in there. And in race number 8, she's got the 8, and that is Flight Till Dawn, which is 20 to 1, and the 12, Wine Goggles, which is 6 to 1. So she got some nice bombers in race number 8 this afternoon. And I also got my long shot in there because I just thought that race was wide open. So let's go to race number 4 this afternoon. And I started with the inside horse, Jonah's Dream. And Jonah's Dream is from the Sandino Hernandez Jr. barn. He's just doing a great job. All year long. You look at he's got 4 wins already at the meet. And, he's just been going well. He's got Emissary El Jaramillo has just been in the zone and riding great. Speed on the inside. I know you got to deal with the inside post going 7 furlongs. I just thought this horse had the speed, enough speed. You see 22 and 1, 45 and 1 last time out. To get up there, it was against the same level 35. So we'll see how this horse runs. Can't go wrong with a speed horse and Emissary El Jaramillo in the saddle. 7 to 5 on the morning line. Then I got the number 5 horse in here, Sue. And Sue is from Juan Alvarado's barn, and this one making its second career start, stepping up. But I wanted to show you this interesting stat here. So it is him making second-time starters on the dirt, maiden claimers over the past 5 years. Not a big sample, but a great sample. 4 for 13, 31%. 62% in the money, and almost a $3 return of investment, $2.80. And of course, you're getting our leading rider, Edgard Size, riding number 5, Sue, in race number 4. Then you got the number 3 horse in here, You're a My Style, and it's David Fawkes. Didn't show much, this horse, on the turf last time out. Bumped at the start, was 7 wide. But you know what? The barn is good. Horses making the second start 20%. They tried the turf. They're dropping it down. They're trying everything. And I like the fact that Miguel Vasquez is going to jump aboard. So we'll see how that horse runs for David Fawkes. That's the 3. But the 1 and 5 look awful tough in race number 4. Now we go to race number 5. We're on the turf. The turf is firm this afternoon, about 7.5 furlongs. These are claimers for 3-year-olds and upwards. And we have one scratch in here of the number 10, First Lou, and a jockey change on the number 9, Split Strike. Make that rider Emissary El Jaramillo. And this is where Brian's late pick 4 ticket will start this afternoon, and he's again, like his earlier ticket, he's going with Motivo. We'll show video on that horse. I might have missed something. I got this horse in 4th. Lots of coverage in race number 6, and who can blame him? That's a tough one. My top in there is Asher's Edge, as I mentioned, my single in all his races. So Brian's thinking different. He's got the 1, Downing Street. He's going to show video of that, the race of Downing Streets last time out, and the number in race number 8. Lots of coverage in there with the 1, 3, 4, and number 9. So we'll see how this plays out. Now, getting back to this race, I started it off here with the number 8 horse in here, while I flip the page here, and that is Mr. Barrio, who's going to turn back to the 7.5 furlong distance. I think this horse is going to help cure that chalk burning status right now. You can look at this horse's last 2 races. Now, 2 back was on the Tapeta, but look at its last race against the 35-2 lifetime claimers, which we're dealing with today. And this horse is going to turn back, was up there on the pace, dueling throughout, cuts back today to the 7.5 furlongs. Edgar Zayas in the saddle this afternoon. So we'll see how that horse runs today. And then I had the number 9, Split Strike. And Split Strike, this one from Lisa Lewis's barn. I want to show you stats. It's not a big stat, but I wanted to show you to you. This is sprint to route on the turf over the past 2 years. She's 1 for 2, 50% in the money, but a $650 return of investment. The point I was trying to make with the barn, and Lisa, she does an excellent job. She doesn't start a lot of horses, and you can always get a little bit of a price, and that's the number 9, Split Strikes in there. But we got to watch the replay of Motivo that Brian singled and Samantha has on her ticket. So if we go back, if we could see this video of Motivo, and there you see Motivo 8-5 this day, turning for home on that beautiful turf course, and there you see Motivo just drawing clear. Looks like he has a little bit of trouble there coming in, and might have bothered the 7 horse a little bit in there. We'll see how that plays out. And Motivo, is pretty game. He holds on, but he's disqualified and plays second. I saw that happening there, and of course, if you look at the PPs, he was disqualified and plays second. So they're going right back to him. Brian is singling this horse. He just thought that was a good performance in here. I mentioned the 8, the 9. The sneaky in the race for me is the number 1, Admiral's Wave, 12-1 on the morning line. And you got to sort of dig deep here to see where this horse might run well. If you look 2 starts back against 25-2 lifetime claimers, albeit a notch lower than this. This horse ran second, comes back last time, tries to state bred 20 optional claimers, didn't run that well. Who jumps aboard? Miguel Vasquez. That to me intrigues me when you're buying making these tries, these supers, even the pick 4s and pick 5s. Maybe you're throwing a horse like this. I'm just curious why Miguel Vasquez decided to jump aboard. Let's go to race number 6 this afternoon, 6 1/2 furlongs. These are maidens. They're state-bred maidens, 3-year-olds and upward. And we do have a scratch in here for the number 10, Tricky Tiger. And we have my best bet of the afternoon, Samantha's single, and his replay of Asher's Edge, Fatouche, and David Songs that we'll jump in and show you right now, and we'll see how, and they do a great job. And there you can see Asher's Edge, the number 9 horse that afternoon, and there's David Songs coming up. And I just thought that this horse, Asher's Edge, ran a really good race in here. You could see number 9 horse, the horse that I thought single. I just thought that this horse ran well, held on, was game. What's the key? Why do you make a horse like this who didn't get, was way behind the 5 horse in here? Why did I make it my best bet today? Because of the bond, the connection, David Forks. He's so good with maidens making their second start. This was 50 maiden optional claimers. This time of the year, state-bred maiden special weight and 50 maiden optional claimers are sort of on the same level. You're getting Miguel Vasquez. Boy, Miguel Vasquez better have a good day. And I think this horse is going to run exceptionally well in there. The other one is the 3, One Sharp Cookie, who's the morning line. Boy, look at this one chasing some swift early fractions last time of 21-4 and 44-4. Just happened to run into a monster that day in Mindframe, who won the race by 13 lengths, I think, from Shug McGahee's barn. So that's the logical one in there, chasing those fast fractions. You're not going to get that this afternoon in this race. That is the number 3, One Sharp Cookie. And then on the inside with the 1 Black Fury, who's second choice on the morning line, and rightly so. Boy, this horse is getting blinkers, been knocking on the door in 3 consecutive races. That race at 6.5 furlongs, which is this distance, was good, was beaten a half length. Maybe the blinkers will do this for Ruben Sierra and Jesus Rios. So for me, it's 2, 3, 1, and the 8, David Songs, one of those horses you saw in the video, and we'll see how that plays out. And with my best bet of the afternoon, it's Samantha's single. We're going to go couple more actually. Going to go to race 7 with the, this one's going to be sprinting on the Tapeta. This is a starter optional claimer for fillies and mares 4-year-olds and up. And we do have a scratch in here of number 3, Pretty Awesome. And, if you look at this race, boy, Admiral Hopper to me looks really, really good. 7-5 on the morning line. Comes off the bench in January. What does the horse do? Wins, beats 25 optional claimers. goes on the sideline again, comes back, beats 35 optional, 25, 35 optional claimers. Admiral Hopper has never lost this year in 2024. And boy, this one loves this surface. Here at Gulfstream, the Tapeta, 5 starts, 4 wins. So the old horse for course play with the number 1 Admiral Hopper. And you know the connections of Saffie Joseph Jr. and our leading rider, Edgar Zayas. Boy, a lot of people might be thinking of singling that when they're putting their tickets together, but you see that both me, Brian, and Samantha did not do that. The other horses I used was the 2 Flirtini, and this one certainly no slouch in the win department, and this one used its speed, back-to-back wins, follows the 25 condition claimer, comes right back and wins a 25 starter allowance. Both of those sprinting on the Tapeta, 7 races on that surface with 3 wins, a second and a third. Fernando Abreu is having a good year. Imaginary Stables is the owners, and MCL Hermio in the saddle. So, boy, I could see why you can't just maybe single that horse in here. What about the 8, Fortuna Bell? And Fortuna Bell, what has this horse done? Come off back-to-back victories. So you got horses that know when to win this circle here. And this is Rohan Crichton, who does an excellent job too. And this one's going to have that outside trip. And you look at this horse, best performances on the lead. So it looks like everybody wants to lead in this race. So maybe you look like a horse like the 5 Anatomy, who likes to run from off the pace. And maybe it sets up perfectly for that horse. And that's why in race 7, maybe you go a little deeper in there, because there's so much speed, and horses love the Tapeta and they love to win. So something's got to give here, and maybe it's the 5 coming off the pace. The nightcap this afternoon is 1 mile on the turf, maiden claimers, and this one is for 3-year-olds. Scratch the 5 to 6 and take out all those also eligible entries, 13, 14, and 15. Please note the number 11 is listed as a gelding, and as I mentioned, my long shot is the number 2 horse in here, Dixie Peach. But we got a video with Downing Street and also in this race Whiting Field. So let's see what the fellas upstairs and what I guess Samantha did these. And there you see Dixie Peach right there in the back, and you know, Dixie Peach is 12 to 1 on the morning line, and you're going to see this horse. I just thought ran exceptionally well, ends up finishing 3rd in this race, but boy, this horse is game. So you look at all the other horses in the race. Why is this horse 12 to 1? There's no like world beaters in here. So we'll see how this horse runs. Dixie Peach game right to the wire, and I just thought this was a spot where this horse can certainly run well. No one, as I said maybe 2 or 3 times today, I mean, it's where you placed, what kind of competition you faced, and so this horse is just as good as anybody else in the race. Number 3 Modica, this one Fernando Abreu on the drop, formerly in George Weaver's barn, coming back, and that's it, simple as that. The drop, a good barn. This barn 17% with new additions to the shed row, and I closed it out with the number 9, the horse you saw running there with the number 2 Dixie Peach. That's Whiting Field, and Whiting Field got that always that good commodity speed, and we'll see how this one runs. You know, was on the engine last time out, finished in that 3-horse finish, with Mo Caliente won at Whiting Field, and of course Dixie Peach. So we'll see what we get with the scratches in here. See if we get the full 12 to 1 on Dixie Peach, or does someone everything go on the number 3 Modica in here is the morning line favorite. So that is how I see the 8 races this afternoon. As I mentioned, Brian and Samantha should be joining us back tomorrow. And before we're done, we got our world-class lightning round, a little one today, but we'll take you through it right now with the lightning round. And as we do each and every Thursday when we come back, we take a look at the standings, and let's see what's going on. First, the jockeys. Look at that. Edgar 44, Miguel 35, MSCL 29. You can see that all these guys just great riders here in the summer, and Edgar, just classing it up a little bit. We'll see how it plays out this week. Miguel's right on his tail. He's not beaten that by that much, and MCL's story, and you see Lionel, who's one of my favorite riders, brings home a lot of long shot. What's going on with the trainers in here? Let's check it out. And see, Saffie Joseph Jr., 21. He's starting to pull away like he did last summer. Jose D'Angelo always in the hunt. Victor Barboza Jr., boy, did he wake up. He didn't have a great championship meet. Boy, is he winning races. And then you see Carlos David and the old Mark Cassie, who's got tons of horses. And I expect Mark to just move up the standings as the summer progresses. Then we got New York, New York. What does that mean? Well, we got the Taste of New York this year. Taste at the Track is back for Belmont Stakes weekend, and apparently it's all New York type of food, which is, hey, that's right up my alley. You know what I mean? What are you talking about? It's probably, I would venture to say there's going to be pizza. I mean, I'm making just a wild bet there that maybe it'll be pizza. Let's take a look at my best bet this afternoon that we talked about a couple of times, and that's the 2 Asher's Edge, 6-1 in the morning line. We'll see if we get it. And my long shot today comes in the last race, and it is the number 2 Dixie Preach, 12-1 in the morning line. I did it with 26 minutes left to post, $37,000 plus in the early pick 5 pool. Join me throughout the afternoon. It's going to be a lot of fun here in sultry South Florida. Good luck, everybody.